All right, Shalom Mashpaka, Priest Kalak here. Here with the Akim, about to get back into this Genesis. Go through this whole Torah. You feel what I'm saying? If it be the Most High's will. We over here at Genesis 10 right now. Genesis 10 right now. Let me share my screen. I'm not sure if it's too much. We're gonna actually get back into it, but give me a sec. How's everything out there?
Thanks to Wab. It's good. Now, when Sabbath ends, now I might go get some oxtail,
He said he might go what?
Go grab some oxtail. Yeah, that was a good spot.
He heard that one.
That was a good spot. All right, we in here now. We about to get into the table of nations, right? We see how where we left off at. They just got all on a land. Noah and his three sons with their wives. You know what I mean? And everybody else comes through those three sons. So we about to touch on that a little bit right now. All right. So let's go on. You gonna read? You can see the screen, right up?
Come.
You say yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
The book of Genesis, chapter 10, from the top. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Right.
And unto them were sons born after the flood.
Right. So this is letting you know this is after the flood happened, right?
Sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog and Madai and Javan and Tubal and Meshach and Tyrus, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz and Riphath and Togarma.
Yeah, now all these is the sons of Japheth. Now there's a lot of people that believe that the so-called Caucasians is Japheth or Japheth because of the locations that these spots are in. You like, for instance, Javan over there, you seeing in
Except they think they Ephraim.
who?
Caucasians.
Oh yeah, though that's from the Mormon church though. The ones that follow him. Most of them teach that they from Japheth. Most Christians teach that. Like for instance, Javan actually was Greece. So that was the original name for them, the inhabitants of Greece. You got Magog, which is the area of Russia and China. You know what I mean? Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz was in Germany, in that area. And the crazy thing is though, these Jewish people, right? Even the fact they call themselves Ashkenazis, right? They letting it be known that they not Jews anyways. You can't be of two different nations. It's impossible, right? But anyways, when you look at the old ancient, matter of fact, let me see if I could pull something up. I don't know exactly where to go, but I should actually looked in this earlier. I just thought about it now. See if something pops up ancient. You see pictures. in their pottery where there was a lot of dark-skinned people. Now, the original inhabitants of Greece was so-called black people, people of color. When you look at their pottery, the oldest, most ancient pottery they have is always with so-called black people. Then you see where, as time went on, here, let me get out of here. As time went on, you'll see black and white in their pottery, and then all white. You know what I'm saying? So you could actually see in their pottery where Esau took over, and that was starting with Alexander the Greek. All their old, most ancient artifacts was all dark at the time. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all, you see this, right?
Khan, I see that.
But yeah, just to give an idea of certain things, that's, you know what I mean. At the time, they was all Japhetic, Japhetic dark people, and they wound up. Esau crept in like they always do and wound up taking over.
I think what is it? People think Japheth became Edom because his descendants settled in the Caspian Sea area, I believe.
Say that again.
That there are a lot of people who myself included a long time ago thought that Japheth was the progenitor of Edom because of his descendants settling in the Caspian Sea area, making it seem as though he's the progenitor of the Europeans.
Right. Okay. Yeah, as time went on, you'll see black. At first it was all black, then you see black and white, and then all white in their pottery. You know what I mean? As you look in history. But like Tarshish and all these was areas of Greece, all these areas of Europe. This was Japheth's first stomping grounds, all them areas. Right now, we'll say the Japhites will be, the majority of Asians and the Polynesians, majority. Right?
How they get looking like that?
As far as how
their eyes and skin color.
I mean, you see stuff like that in Africa. Right now, there's ancient tribes over there that look Asian. Matter of fact, let me see if I could pull that up. I forget the name of them. That's actually that. I guess that would be more of a trait carried down from their forefather.
Who, Isaac?
Nah, Japheth.
I mean, Noah.
I would say Japheth, because you look at it like, for instance, you could easily some of the Polynesians and Asians, they look the same to me. They look alike.
Mm-hmm. That's what they say about us.
They say, but at the same time, the majority of we kind of, for the most part, got a different look than Hamites. Some of them try to say we all look the same as, Hamites, but we got a different.
Everybody I ask about that, I'd be like, if we stand next to a Hamite, true or false, you could tell the difference. Everybody universally says they could tell the difference between.
I'm talking about Israel in general.
Oh yeah, Israel. Yeah, they say we look alike.
Puerto Ricans in Mexico look just alike.
Yeah, that's true.
But what was I about to look up? I forgot what I was about to look up just now.
The Asian eyes,
the African tribes that look Asian.
Okay, yeah. Nah, you good. That's actually good. It's helping. Tribe. I don't know what to type up. That looks Chinese. Because I remember seeing this before. I'm like, yo, who is this?
Like Indonesians look got that chinky eye look. And that's Japhet, huh?
Images of African tribes that look, I didn't mean to put chin, but
Indonesians got pretty, I think they got the best features. Maybe dark skin with blonde hair.
This tribe right here, Asia's in South Africa. They all got them eyes, the whole tribe.
She would clean up. She'd be pretty.
Oh yeah.
me see if I could pull. There was other pictures I seen. I remember seeing a guy with his granddaughter, and I was like, "Yo, those two Chinese people right there." Let me see if I. But what tribe is this? Does it say? Yeah.
What their rapes look like. I mean, what's the name rape? No. Excuse me.
The sand.
Sand people. All right. Inhabiting Botswana. Okay. Sand people. So let me pull that up now. Sand people. They all got them eyes.
I can't say that because my little cousin has those eyes. And
Yeah, I
Judah,
seen all
and he's
four Israelites like that. Yeah.
And when he was young, people didn't know what he was. They think, "Yo, what is he? Is he Asian? Is he Chinese?"
I think that's why. Remember back.
And then when he smiles, they close all the way. It's like you can't see that.
You remember back in the days they used to call us the Asiatic black men.
Oh, word?
And I
never
think,
knew that.
yeah, I know Nas used to say that all the time. I think that our eyes is one of the main reasons why they said that too. How we have the almond eyes or whatever.
And how many nations are there originally?
They started off with, I believe, 18 nations.
I thought it was 14.
I want to say 18, but out of the nations, there's more nations that springed out. Like, for instance, the Canaanites was described as 7 great nations, you know what I mean? But it was all Canaanites. Get out of here. Let me close this.
18? I always thought it was 14.
So before the subdivisions, there were
Yeah, we could do
18.
the counting right now. Say that again?
Before the subdivisions, there were 18.
I believe so. But we could count right now. If y'all want to keep count, we're going to go into them. So
Right.
the sons of Japheth, you got Gomer and Magog. Well, not all of these really became nations. But Gomer, Magog, Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus. Right? Out of them, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, which also became a nation, and Riphath, and Togarmah. Togarmah also became a nation. Right? But you can read on verse 14.
And Pathrazim and Castlehim.
Where you at?
Oh, so lucky. This is Genesis chapter 10.
We have verse 4.
Oh, verse 4.
Actually, you said 14.
I said
Yeah.
14.
Yeah, because I'm like, damn, we all the way over there.
Oh, Salakia, my fault.
Verse 14. I mean, verse 4.
God.
And the sons of Javan,
Uh-huh.
Elisha,
Uh-huh.
and Tarshish,
Uh-huh.
Kittim, and Dodanim. By
Right.
these,
Now, Kittim was considered, I believe, Kittim was more Eastern European. I know they talked about the Chinese and all, well, people from Asia that was from Kittim that was pushed far east. Javan was Greece. Tarshish, that was like Spain area, right? We could read on.
by these were the isles of Gentiles divided in their lands,
Mm-hmm.
everyone after his tongue, after their families and their nations.
Right. So he's saying that the Most High split everybody up. Basically, they was divided, and everybody in their own language, own tongue, own family, in their own land. Right. We can read on.
And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim,
Mizraim, yeah.
Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan.
Now the sons of Ham, you got Cush, which would be Ethiopians, Eritreans, Somalians. Mitzrayim would be was the original Egyptians, which would be they more in like I'm gonna say
Sudan.
Libya,
Oh.
South Sudan right now. Put I can't remember exactly where they at. Canaan was scattered all over. Canaan was around us, you know what I mean, South Africa, so on and so
Put
forth.
like Ethiopia, right?
Who?
Or Somalia?
Who?
Put.
I was that's on Kush.
Oh, yeah, Chris.
You could read on.
And the verse 7, and the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havia, and Sabta, and Ramah, and Sabtisha,
Mm-hmm.
and the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan,
Mm-hmm.
and Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth.
Right, Nimrod, that's a famous name. So that was Cush's son. He came from them and he started the empire of Babylon.
Babylon.
Right? But we could read on.
He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter, before the Lord, before the Most High.
Right.
And verse 10, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel,
Mm-hmm.
and Irish, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar.
Land of Shinar would be modern day Iraq. Right, so that's where their kingdom was at. Kingdom of Babel, right? Read on.
Out of that land went forth Ashur,
Mm-hmm.
and builded Nineveh,
Nineveh. Mm-hmm.
and the city Rehoboth, and Calah.
Right. Nineveh is another famous ancient city, one of the most Babylon and Nineveh, the two most ancient and respected cities.
Now,
Big.
question. Now, that Babel that got destroyed in Russia, that Russia destroyed, is that?
That was symbolizing this,
Okay, that's what I was.
the Tower of Babel.
Okay.
Right. The Tower of Babel it's called it's a ziggurat. That's what they call it. It's a giant temple for worship. You feel what I'm saying? So they was building that we're gonna get to that, but they was building that in Babylon.
Okay.
Right. But read on.
Verse 12,
Mm-hmm.
and Rezin between Nineveh and Calah, the same as a great city,
Right.
and Mizraim.
Now this is where Nineveh is where the northern kingdom was taken captive at. Right. But read on.
Verse 13, and Mizraim begat Ludim,
Mm-hmm.
and Anamim,
Mm-hmm.
and Lehabim,
Mm-hmm.
and Nephitim,
Right.
and Pathrazim, and Kazlahim, out of whom came Philistim.
Mm-hmm. So he's letting you know where the Philistines came from. The Philistines was the descendants of Mizraim. Right.
And Caphtorim,
Mm-hmm.
and Canaan. Verse 15, and Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth,
Mm-hmm.
and the Jebusite.
Now remember, see where we read in Deuteronomy 7 and it lets you know these 7 nations greater than thou. You're gonna read all of them right here. All of them is the sons of Canaan. Right? And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, right? Read on.
Verse 16, and the Jebusite,
Uh-huh.
and the Amorite, and the
Girgashite. Uh-huh.
and the Hivite, and
Mhm.
the Archite,
Mm-hmm.
and the Sinite,
Mm-hmm.
and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite,
Mm-hmm.
and the Hamathite.
Mm-hmm.
And afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad.
And they were spread all over. Right?
And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon,
Mm-hmm.
and Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza.
So that's our land right there. Sidon was northern Israel, all the way down to southern Israel, Gaza. Gaza is right along the border of Israel and Egypt. Right? You can read on.
unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah.
And Sodom and Gomorrah was in the land of Jordan. You know what I'm
is
saying?
it?
Yeah, in Jordan.
I thought it was in Africa.
Nah,
I always
it's
wanted to know.
I
where
thought
that-
so too. I didn't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sodom and Gomorrah is is in Jordan. It's in Jordan off of the Israel borders.
And Admah and Zobium, even unto Lasha.
Right? To read on. So they had basically they had our whole land. That's where Canaan was at. That was our spot.
Now, question:
Mhm.
Where's their original land? Like,
Where they supposed to be
yeah,
at.
where they supposed to be? Because if everybody was in their land, we basically Most High said, "Nah, this not gonna be y'all land no more. It's gonna be Jacob's land."
Yeah, well, he planned that was going to be our land anyways. He let them live there to keep it up. He said so the beast
People
won't
he hate the
overtake it.
most.
Yeah, so we could cast them out.
Kind.
I mean, he said, "Yo," because it took a time too. As we read, he'll tell you like everybody got a certain amount of, especially the other nations. With us, we got our punishment right away. With the other nations, he let them rack up a rap sheet so he could just straight destroy them and go and do all type of stuff with them. You know what I mean? So he let that happen with them.
Well, then yeah, every nation was chilling in our land at a point, even up to now.
I mean, well, I wouldn't say every nation.
Egyptians.
I wouldn't say every nation because they all really had their lands. Esau is the one who pushed everybody really out of their lands. You feel what I'm saying? That land was for us, set aside for us from the beginning. He just let them. They, I guess, felt like they wanted to go take it because it's the best land, and he let them stay there and rock until it was our time to take that land back.
Like their iniquities are filled up, and then we kicked them out.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
He was nothing. We wasn't
even a nation. Facts. Right. Because he told Abraham that, like, yo, this is your land. I'm gonna give this to your seed. He told Jacob that. He told all of that. Right. But yeah, you can read on.
We're at Genesis 10 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues and their countries,
Mm-hmm.
and in their nations.
Right.
Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber,
Mm-hmm.
the
Unto
brother.
all the children of Eber. That's where we get the word Hebrew from.
Come.
Hebrew from the past. Some people say the crossover, which it does mean that also. But it means from the past. Right.
The brother of Japheth, the elder.
Mm-hmm.
Even to him were children born.
Right. So this is where we come from. Right. Read on.
The children of Shem, Elam.
Elam, we know, is the East Indians, right? East Indians, the Persian Empire, right? Right.
And Asher,
Uh-huh.
and Arphaxad,
Arphaxad, uh-huh.
and Lud, and Aram.
Okay, now Arphaxad, that's where we come from. That's the lineage where we come from. Right. All right, you can read on.
Verse 23, and the children of Aram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash, and Arphaxad begat Salah.
Mm-hmm.
And Salah begat Eber.
Right.
And unto Eber were born 2 sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided.
Now, this is when I was talking about the earthquake before. This is what I was thinking. When the earth was divided from Pangea into, you know what I mean, separated. When it was broken up. Before in his days was the earth divided, right? But you can read on.
And his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begat Almodad and Shelef. And Hazar Maveth and Jerah.
Right, read on.
And Hadaram and Uzal and Diklah and Obal and Abimael and Sheba and Ophir and Havia and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan, and their dwellings was from Misha, as thou goest unto Sephar, a mount to the east.
Right.
These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, and their lands. and their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah after their generations and their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood.
Right. So that's the nations that was divided after the flood, right? Let's go to the next one.
Chapter 11.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there.
All right. Now, during this time, when they first split and all these nations were created, everybody was still speaking that one language.
We don't know that language, right?
That's Hebrew.
Or was it Hebrew? Okay.
Yeah. Remember, that's why he said Eber means from the past. We speak the most ancient language. There was still a lot of nations that were speaking that, like the Moabites were speaking it. Edomites were speaking it. The Idumeans, the ones that stayed in that land, they were speaking Hebrew. Canaanites, the Philistines. You feel what I'm saying? Right.
Verse 3. And they said one to another.
Okay, it was Slakia. Now it said, and it came to pass they journeyed from the east that they found the plain of the land of Shinar, which is Iraq, right? And they dwelt there. You go ahead.
Verse 3. And they said one to another, Go, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
And they had brick for stone, and
Mhm.
slime had they for mortar.
Right.
And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven.
And that's what they did with. That's that image you saw them burning in Russia. That's the ziggurat, the big building. And you know what? I saw something.
That too, huh?
Let me see if I could pull that up.
So basically, they built a skyscraper.
Yeah. And you know the crazy thing, Amazon. I just read something not too long ago. Amazon is talking about building their building modeled after that. But yeah.
I thought I did see.
Wait, didn't we go to something
Here, I see over there in Dubai, they have the Wiz Khalifa.
Time Magazine or whatever?
That thing is huge.
Cover of Time Magazine. Where they
Yeah.
build buildings into heaven or something.
Khaleesi region. Here you go.
And
Yeah.
this is the real Tower of
It was
Babel?
a Tower of Babel burn.
Yeah,
No, they
the
created.
one that-
They recreated it?
Yeah, they recreated it. They just did this, saying that the Babylon is being burnt down.
Yeah. See that shit. What?
Let me see
Russia
if
is wild.
I. Yeah. Let me see. Is this it? What is all this popping up on my thing, man? It's getting open. Get out of here. Can I see it? Is it on here?
I think it took you to another.
It took me somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
I shouldn't be messing with no computers. Here we go.
There you go.
And look, all this other stuff popping up. I can't. Here we go. It's not gonna let me. Well, for those who see it, they made a fake Tower of Babel out of sticks and straw, and they burnt it in Russia. They recently did this. I was hoping I could bring up the video.
On March 15th.
What's the significance of them doing that? Like, why are they burnt? I don't understand.
Because everybody and their mother knows that America is the new Babylon. Everybody knows. You hear
That's true.
Jamaicans talk, bun down Babylon.
Yeah. Stand down, Babylon, burn down.
That's that Western civilization, and the Russians know that also. And they saying America, basically the Western civilization is falling. Look, in Russia, in the Kaluga region, a replica of the Tower of Babel was burned. According to biblical tradition, the Tower of Babel is mankind's first attempt to build a world empire that would unite all the peoples and nations that inhabited the earth. It is mankind's first attempt to challenge God and take his place. And what Russia perceives is going on is, as they try to push NATO to every country, they trying to spread that. You know what I mean?
Trying to get everybody to join together.
Right. And they burned this down. And
So
was
Russia
cheering
was
it
like,
on.
we're not with that.
Right.
much.
Let me see if I could pull it up on here. It's the same thing I was on, huh?
Same thing.
Yep. I should not be using no computer.
Mm.
Alright. Yeah, but yeah, we keep it going.
And verse 4, and they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
Yeah, so they trying to gather and unite everybody together. One world government, one world currency, one world
Like we're doing
religion.
now, basically.
Exactly what they doing right now. Right? Read on.
And the Most High came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded.
Mm-hmm.
And the Most High said,
Oh, yeah, Slocky. Let me see if I can pull this up too. Because Amazon, I'm almost positive it was Amazon. They talking about making one in Virginia.
Look how mad the queen looked. Look how mad the queen looks standing next to next to Meghan Markle.
Come. Tower of Babel, built by Amazon, is not only an office building itself. The investment will cover a large part of the city. The giant intends to use 2.5 hectares of public space to offer art installations, public grass areas, and an amphitheater with 250 seats.
where is that?
I'm guessing that is acres arranged in the form of a hexagon.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. But that's how they plan it to look.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Even the building regenerated. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What is that?
Why? Well,
Speeches. Everybody's doing it.
it says where it's gonna be at. I'm tired. All this stuff keep popping up. New headquarters building. Where is it at? In Washington. Yeah, Virginia.
Yeah.
The new headquarters will be built in Arlington, Virginia.
In Arlington, next to the Pentagon.
Right. Across the Potomac River.
Potomac River, yeah. I'm born right next to there. That's where they're going to put it. They're going to put it not too far from the Pentagon.
Yeah, you seen it? It's like my fault. Yeah.
Right, actually, right where they put that stupid little statue for the damn 9/11. That's exactly where they're going to put it.
All right.
So I find it funny they're building it next to the Empire's military headquarters.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So yeah, you can read on.
Verse 5, and the Lord came down to see the city of the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Most High said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language.
Mm-hmm.
And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
And you think about it too, like people be doing their life work. Imagine what they was getting done back then when they was living hundreds of years. People be doing their life work and be making great accomplishments now for like 20. Yeah, exactly. So imagine living 500, 600, 700 years working on something what they could do.
Tupac died at 25. Said Tupac died at 25 and did so
25.
much.
Right. But yeah, let's go. We can go on.
Antichrist.
Verse 7, go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
Right. Like this is the simple fact. Matter of fact, let's keep on going.
So, verse 8, so the Most High scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Most High did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Most High scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth.
So he confounded all their languages. That's what Babel means. Babel means confusion. Right. So all of a sudden he just struck them. Boom. Now everybody's speaking a different language.
So he doesn't want everybody to be united.
He never wanted everybody to be united.
No, not from the beginning. No, it was like he was mad about that.
Yeah.
Just so he could set Israel on top.
Yeah, he always said that. He said we are a set apart people. He didn't want us united with everybody. When he gave you laws saying you don't deal with these people, don't show those people no mercy. You feel what I'm saying? He never wanted us united with everybody. Huh?
That's only Canaan he told.
Nah, he told us don't show Moab and Ammon no mercy, ever.
Moab, who's Moab and Ammon?
Moab and Ammon would be like in that area, in the Stany area.
They're like Hamites, kind of like Africans, right? Oh.
Nah, we say they more like they would look more like Ishmael. They in that area.
Yeah, okay.
They in Palestine still, Palestine and Jordan in those areas.
Over there.
Let me
Afghanistan, Pakistan.
Let me show you real quick.
They the ones that was big in New York.
Most people from like Persia, they look like Asian. People at my work look like they have those eyes.
Because he said don't deal with the Canaanites, but when it came to Moab and Ammon, he said you don't show them no mercy, no pity, no none of that.
Don't do it for us. In Pakistan. But now that I think of that, because we show a lot of Afghanistan's love in New York.
We show everybody love.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's yeah. Where's that at? I might have to come back to that. I can't remember where that was at.
Pakistan. Abu.
So we'll come back to that. I gotta find that. But you go ahead.
Come and that was verse 10.
Come on.
These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begot Arphaxad 2 years after the flood.
So Shem didn't have Arphaxad until he was 100 years old. Right? That's 2 years after the flood. So he was already 98 during the flood. Right? To read on.
And Shem lived after he begat Arphaxad 500 years. And begat sons and daughters. And Arphaxad lived 35 years and begat Salah. And Arphaxad lived after he begat Salah 403 years, and begot sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And Salah lived 30 years and begat Eber.
Right.
And Salah lived after he begot Eber 403 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Eber lived 34 years, and begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years, and begat Reu. And Peleg lived after he begat Reu 209 years.
Yeah, so it's going through our whole lineage of where we come from. This chosen lineage of the Most High. Right? You can read on.
And begat sons and daughters. And Reu lived 32 years, and begat Serug. And Reu lived after he begat Serug 207 years, and begat sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And Serug lived 30 and begat Nahor.
Mm-hmm.
And Serug lived after he begat Nahor 200 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Nor lived 29 years, and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years, and begat Abram,
Mm-hmm.
Nahor, and Haran. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of
the Chaldees.
Ur of the Chaldees.
Right.
So that's Abraham, huh?
Yeah.
That's
Abram.
what I got.
Abram is Abraham. Yeah. His name was changed later on, same way the Most High changed Jacob's name. Right. So he's letting you know there's descendants of Terah. You know what I mean, Abram. Right. You can read on. And the Chaldees, that area is the same area in Babylon, which is Iraq.
Rockies.
The Iraq area, I would say.
And Abram and Nahor took them wives.
So I want y'all to underline this too. Underline this because it's saying Abram and Nahor took them wives. They wound up getting wives, right? Read.
The name of Abram's wife was Sarai.
So he took his wife Sarai, which her name was later on changed to Sarah. People try to teach, especially Christian church, because they don't understand. They say that Sarah was Abraham's sister. She was not. And this right here proves this. This along with, as we keep on reading a little further, right? Read on.
Right. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. Is that Isaac?
No.
Iscah, no. But Sarai was barren; she had no child.
Right.
And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law.
Sarai his daughter-in-law, not his daughter. His daughter-in-law. That's the only relationship she had to him. Right. Just so y'all could, put that to bed. People be try to say, "Oh, that was not his sister at all."
Right, his daughter-in-law, his son, Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan, and they came unto Haran and dwelt there.
Right.
And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran.
Right.
Ooh, only 200
the Most High had
You said, hold up. You said something out?
I was just looking at that, like only 200 years. It's starting to dwindle down. Like,
yeah, you're seeing it now. They're starting to have children a lot earlier now, and they're starting to die a lot earlier now.
Yeah.
to us, but to the people before them, they looking at him like, oh, he's a
I mean, I
baby.
saw that a little way back. Where who had a son at 30? Peleg lived 30 years and begot right. That's only 30. He was only 30 years old. He's a baby having a baby.
Yeah.
Really?
I think it said what was it? Shem had Arphaxad. No, not Shem. Arphaxad, I think, had his first son at 35 also.
Right.
Something like that. But yeah, we go ahead though.
Chapter 12. Now the Most High had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee.
Mm-hmm.
And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee.
So he said, now they left out of this land. They left out of where they was at, or the Chaldees, and they came to this land. Right? Read that part again.
Verse 2. And I will make of thee a great nation. And
actually started one.
At
My
one.
fault. Yeah.
Genesis 12, verse 1. Now the Most High had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee.
Right. So it's the first commandment we see the Most High giving Abram. Right? Read on.
Verse 2, and I will make of thee a great nation.
So he's saying, I will make of thee a great nation. He's going to make of Abraham or Abram a great nation. Right?
And I will bless thee. I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing.
Right. Abraham and his seed is going to be a blessing. He said he's going to make his name great, which everybody knows Abraham.
Now, for some reason I have marked down here Maccabees 2:10.
Right.
For this verse.
Right.
Is that first Maccabees?
Yeah. But we're going to read a little bit more. We're going to read the next one and then go into Maccabees.
Okay.
Right? So he said he's going to make them a blessing, right? Read.
And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
Now, people lean on that. They lean on two, where they say, oh, thou shalt be a blessing. Abraham's going to be a blessing. So we follow the Abrahamic religion, we're going to be blessed. And then they go down here. He said, in thee all families of the earth shall be blessed. So we're going to be blessed. But they don't read the part right there where it says, I will bless them that bless thee and curse them that curse thee. So there's a, how you say, a
twitch, a glitch in there.
Yeah, there's a
conception.
It's you got to do something in order for that to happen. You got to bless him. If you don't bless Abraham's children, you're not getting that blessing. If you curse his children, you're gonna get cursed. That's what the Most High said, right? We could grab that too. First Maccabees 2:10.
I got it.
Come.
My eyes are blurry. It's with the green.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 10.
Come.
What nation hath not had a part in her kingdom?
And that's a rhetorical question. What nation hasn't had a part in the kingdom? Every single nation cursed Israel. Every nation had Israel under subjugation. How all of a sudden they're going to just get blessed? They got to go through that curse first, right? Read on.
And gotten of her spoils.
And gotten of her spoils. All the nations got of her spoils, right? Read on.
All her ornaments are taken away of a free woman. She is become a bond slave.
Israel became a bond slave. So these people that took Israel as slaves, are they going to be blessed?
Wow. They
cursed Israel, so they're going to have to get that curse, right? Let's get real quick on Deuteronomy 30. The Most High, he keeps his word. Everything he said. Matter of fact, grab real quick Isaiah 55 verse 6. Isaiah 55 verse 6.
This is
Read it.
Start at verse 7. I mean 8. Start at 8. Salakia. Yeah.
7 or 8?
Start at 8. 55 verse 8.
For my thoughts are not your thoughts,
Mhm.
neither are your ways my ways, saith the Most High.
Right. He don't think on the same level as us because he's higher. Right, read.
For as the heavens are higher than the earth,
Mhm.
so are my ways higher than your ways,
Right.
and my thoughts than your thoughts.
So he letting us know, like, don't try to think on his level. He letting us know from the rip. Don't try to think on his level. You're not going to be able to do it. Right? Read on.
For as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither,
Mm-hmm.
not
thither.
Yo,
That's
you
good.
gotta finish. I can't
What?
see.
Not thither,
Uh-huh.
but watereth the earth.
So he's saying, as the rain comes down and the snow comes down, it doesn't go back up to the heavens. What does it do? It waters the earth. It has its purpose, right? Read.
And maketh it bring forth and bud.
Then that purpose is to water the earth. Why? So the earth could bring forth and bud, bring forth its plants, its fruits, right? Read.
That it may give seed to the sower
Uh-huh.
and bread to the eater.
That we can eat off of it. That rain comes down to water the ground. Waters the ground so we can eat. It's a circle of life. It all got a purpose, right? Read.
So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth.
So shall the word that the Most High says. So if he says it, it's not going to come back. It just go back up. Nah, it's going to do what he told it to do. Right, read?
It shall not return unto me void.
So if he says, yo, listen, I'm going to curse him that curse you, he's going to curse him that curse you. If he said, I'm going to bless him that bless you, he's going to bless him that bless you. You just ain't no getting around or circumventing anything. Right, read?
But it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it.
Right, he says it's going to accomplish that which he please, and it's going to do.
So when they say the water evaporates and goes back in the air,
it's a circle, but that water comes down. It waters the plants because that's what the plants get watered from. That water, that rain. If you don't have no rain, what happens? Then plants die. That water comes down, plant, you know what I mean? Water them plants, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? And we able to get our plants, get our bread, so on and so forth, feed the animals. Right? We'll read on.
Verse 12, right?
Come.
For ye shall go out with joy. And
nah, you could drop that.
Back,
drop that. Go back to Deuteronomy 30. Grab Deuteronomy 30. Come.
Deuteronomy 30, and it from verse 1.
You can read from the top. Yep.
And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee.
So Moses is talking to the children of Israel. He already read Deuteronomy 28 to them where it says the blessings and the curses that's going to happen. So what he said, when it comes to pass that what?
When all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse.
All these things come upon Israel, the blessings and the curses, right? Read.
Which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations.
Right. So because while we're going to be scattered amongst all the nations, that was part of our punishment. So he letting you know that we're going to be scattered amongst the nations when we bring this to mind, when we come back to the Most High. Right. Read.
Whither the Lord thy power hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Most High thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children,
right,
with all thine heart.
So now, when we scattered amongst everybody in the end of our punishment, that's when we're gonna come to mind who we are and what we need to do, and then we're gonna start turning to him, which we see Israel doing now. Right? Read on.
Thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul. That then the Most High thy power will turn thy captivity.
So then he's gonna take us out of captivity after we do what he wants us to do. And this shows right here, because remember, he said this is gonna happen, meaning it has to happen. Which shows what? We got to keep the commandments. He just gave us the commandments. You know what I'm saying? He said we got to listen to these commandments. Then he's going to take us out of captivity. Right? Read.
And have compassion upon thee,
and
will return and gather gather thee from all the nations whither the Most High thy power hath scattered thee.
Mm-hmm.
If any of thine be driven out of the outmost parts of heaven,
Right.
from thence will the Most High thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee.
Right.
The Most High thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed.
Right. He's gonna gather us up, bring us back in our land. Right. Read.
And thou shalt possess it,
Mhm.
and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers.
Right.
Verse 6, and the Most High thy power will circumcise thine heart.
And this shows, this is the first place where you hear about the circumcision. A lot of people think that's Paul, not knowing that Moses talked about it first. Moses talked about it, Isaiah talked about it. What does that mean? As we see, it's talking about us keeping the law. He said when we return to him, then he's going to circumcise our heart, right? Read.
And the heart of thy seed
Mm-hmm.
to love the Most High thy power
Mm-hmm.
with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
Right. Read.
And the Most High thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
So then all the curses is going to come upon the enemies. Why? Because they cursed us in the first place. They cursed us in the first place. People don't even realize and understand what us being a blessing to them really is. Right? But read on.
Which curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Most High,
Mm-hmm.
and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
So that's what the circumcision of the heart is, us loving the Most High and following his commandments. And he said he's going to put all the curses that we had on us on the other nations. Why? Because they cursed us already. So when it says, and I will bless them that bless thee, which nobody blessed us yet, that's going to come. It hasn't happened yet. And I will curse them that curse
They
thee.
gave us Black History Month.
Yeah, they gave us a crumb, right? They gave us a crumb. But see, the Most High said he's going to put all them curses on them because none of them blessed us.
Does,
Now,
Salakia,
go ahead.
is this a precept like Hosea 5:15?
What is that? Read it.
I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face.
Con,
And their affliction they will seek me early.
which we doing now, right? Now let's get Isaiah 2 and 3. So let's see what it means to be a blessing to them, even though they got little blessings.
It's so dark in here, man.
Yeah, you can plug that light in right there. I don't think that one's working, but whatchamacallit? What was I about to say? Oh yeah, Isaiah.
Isaiah 2 and 3.
Isaiah chapter 2 verse 3.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter
Started one.
chapter 2 from the top.
Uh-huh.
And the word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Most High's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
Uh-huh. So in the last days, when it's over, it didn't come on?
No, I gotta move that thing.
Oh, all right. Nah, it's actually right here. It's this bottom by that fridge. You just move that over.
I gotta move that thing.
All right. Whatchamacallit? It says here in the last days, right? And when that time comes, he's gonna exalt his house, the house of Israel, right? Read.
Established and shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow into it.
Now all the nations are gonna start flowing to this house, to Israel, right? Read on.
And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Most High,
So now they're gonna start coming to us, right? Read.
to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways,
Mm-hmm.
and we will walk in his paths.
That's how we're gonna be a blessing to them. They're gonna come to us to learn how to worship the Most High, how to live right. You know what I'm saying? In the Most High's kingdom, every nation is gonna be good. That's how, so that they could live. Same way we had to follow it, they're gonna have to follow it. That's how they're gonna be. We will be a blessing to them, right? Read on.
And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths.
Mm-hmm.
For out of Zion shall go forth the law,
Mm-hmm.
and the word of the Most High from Jerusalem.
Right. The word of the Most High is going to come from Jerusalem. Right. Read on.
And he shall judge among the nations, and he shall rebuke many people.
Meaning we're going to be punishing these nations. That word judge there, shapat, meaning like to beat the hell out of them. You feel what I'm saying? We're going to judge these nations and rebuke many people. Rebuke is not a nice, simple thing. You feel what I'm saying? You're going to rebuke many people, getting them in line, following the Most High, right? Read.
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation.
Mm-hmm. So now after that, they're not going to be fighting each other no more. Everybody's going to be following how the Most High wants them to follow. That's how we're going to be a blessing to them. Nobody's going to get murdered early. Babies dying young, you know what I mean? So on and so forth. It's not going to happen no more. We're going to teach them how to take care of themselves with the herbs and plants and all that stuff the correct way. You know what I'm saying? Read.
Neither shall they learn war anymore.
Right.
Verse 5, O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord.
And we know what that light is.
These commandments.
These commandments. Let's grab that real quick. Proverbs 6.
Now, with all these other nations coming in at the end of all this, Edom gets destroyed completely.
Edom is destroyed completely. Okay. They will have a 500 year. Actually, no, they're gonna have 1,000 year. 1,000 year of punishment, and then they will be fully wiped out.
Proverbs 6, verse
21, 23.
Verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light.
Mm-hmm. Commandment is a lamp, and law is light. Right, read.
And reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
Reproofs of instruction are the way of life. Right. So that's us being a blessing to the other nations. That hasn't come yet. They haven't got their blessing. They haven't got the curse. They haven't got none of that yet. Right? So we could read on Genesis 12 and 4.
The book of Genesis, chapter 12, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
So Abram departed as the Most High had spoken unto him.
Mm-hmm.
And Lot went with him. And Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Sichem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land.
Yeah.
And verse 7, and the Most High appeared unto Abram and said, Unto thy seed will I give this land. And there builded he an altar unto the Most High, who appeared unto him.
Yeah, so the Most High let him know. He's like, yo, yes, to your seed, this land is given.
Verse 8, and he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west and Hai on the east. And there he builded an altar unto the Most High, and called upon the name of the Most High. And Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south. Verse 10, and there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down in Egypt to sojourn there.
So you see how this is simple. This is a simple walk. This is not no far distance. Like
right there.
he be going. Israel constantly was going back and forth into Egypt.
Oh no, it may sound simple. The whole book sounds simple. I don't know. That might be a far walk.
Not necessarily. It matters where he at. He telling you where he's at. He's
Where
in
was
Bethel, which is southern Israel. You could walk. It's like it's not no crazy walk from Israel to Egypt. Just
Yeah,
the
it's
border.
like walking from here to Provo.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
No, because you could cross a border. He's on the southern of Israel right now, anyways, which is Bethel. But to walk to Egypt, and of course they was more used to walking.
I just about to say, like,
It's not no extreme walk. It's not no far walk. You could actually Gaza is part of Israel, but that was part of Egypt also at the time. You feel what I'm saying? Like you could just cross a border. It was not nothing too crazy.
Like,
You ever walk to Jersey?
Look, all right. Nah, I ain't.
but you could. But you could.
But you
In the
could.
same day. In the same day, you could.
Yeah, you could.
I don't know if you can make it to Jersey from Long Island.
Huh? Yeah, you're not doing that. But you could walk from Long Island to Queens.
Right. It depends on where you are, right? Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. It's not nothing too crazy. It's not like he's walking from they try to make it seem like it's basically what I'm getting at is Israel was constantly going into Egypt when there was problems. We had big Israelite communities in Egypt, like it's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there. Like for instance, if we look at it on a bigger scale, New York and New Jersey, they right there together. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I said that.
You could. But yeah, it matters where you at. People walk from Brooklyn to Manhattan, walk over that bridge.
Was New York.
Okay. But yeah, we go on.
Right, verse 10. And there was a famine in the land,
Mm.
and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land.
Mm.
And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, Behold now, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Verse 12.
Yeah. Take it all with you, please.
Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive.
Now, this is why I was telling y'all before to take that down, because the people will see this right here and think that was really his sister. Not realizing that Abraham actually lied to these people. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. But they can't see. They just their mind. Our laws are saying we're not supposed to lie one to another. The heathen got nothing to do with that. You feel what I'm saying?
Who was it who lied to the wasn't it the Romans? Or
as far as what?
Yeah, just like being able to lie to the other nations and stuff about things like that.
We see Paul doing it.
Yeah, Paul.
We see, Abraham doing it. We see Isaac doing it.
See, I want to be able. I want to be able to deduce this with wisdom here, because in that case, because like I realize that sometimes lying, a lot of times people try to like approach that with major lies, not knowing that small lies will build up over time. For instance, I don't want to go to work today, but I'd be like, you know what? I'm not going to call in and tell him something off, because I don't want to lie about something, even though it's small. When it comes to sin, all you got to do is start small. It'll build up after a while. Now I'm telling people all types of stuff, but now I'm sitting here thinking to myself, well, person that answers the phone is going to be an Edomite. Maybe I can just lie to them and just tell them that I can't make it in today. Like I'm just saying, like I don't in my own mind, I don't want to be like, I can lie to them, because it'll start to build up after a while.
Right. Like, see, if you choose not to, that's cool too. It's no problem with it. But the law is we're not supposed to defraud each other. We're not supposed to lie to each other. That's what the Lord tells us.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? When it comes to Abraham, like I said, it don't matter. A little lie, a big lie, a lie is a lie. Period.
Right. That's what I was trying to say.
Lying to Israel, whether it's big or small, you're sinning.
But anybody else,
you know what I mean? You see Abraham lying here. It's to save his life. but
He did it because he had to, though. I understand it was in his best interest at that point.
Right. He did the same. Isaac did the same exact thing. He had to do the same exact thing. You know what I mean? Paul, we see Paul doing it for his life, to save his life. You feel what I'm saying? But they didn't sin here. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
But this is why Christians try to say which is crazy because they saying, oh, he didn't lie. He just married his sister, which that's a straight sin right there. You're not supposed to marry your sister. You know what I mean? But this is what they go on.
Right. In Genesis 11:31, it says it was his sister-in-law.
Right. But nah, it wasn't sister-in-law.
Oh.
What you mean?
Oh, I thought that's what it said.
Nah, it said Terah's daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law. So
Abram's wife.
daughter-in-law.
You know what I mean? That's Abram's wife.
Daughter-in-law.
Well, Christians try to say the same thing about Cain when he comes upon his wife in
Right.
the wilderness, even though
Yeah.
there's no basis at all that says that he had a sister anywhere.
Right. Yeah. That's what they come to, though. But yeah, we can go ahead.
Verse 12. Therefore it shall come to pass when the Egyptians shall see thee. Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, this is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 13. Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass that when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman, that she was very fair.
Mm-hmm.
The princes also of Pharaoh saw her and commended her before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house, and he entreated Abram well for her sake.
Mm-hmm.
And he had sheep and oxen, and he-asses, and men servants, and maidservants, and she-asses, and camels. And the Most High plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Why saidst thou, she is my sister, so I might have taken her to me to wife?
So yeah, so the Most High made sure that Hamite didn't sleep with her. He went and plagued them and everything, right? But read on.
Now therefore, behold thy wife, take her and go thy way.
So now the Pharaoh the jig is up. He knows that that's his wife. That's not his sister, right? So he said, take her. Huh?
How did he find out? Did she tell him?
Nah, the Most High plagued his house. He sent angels on him and all that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He knew that's where it came from.
Yeah, the angel told him. I forget where it's at. Also, this is another spot. They like the angel say, "Yo, give that man back his wife." Where was we at? Slakia.
Verse
20.
20. All right.
Starting 20.
Uh-huh.
And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away and his wife and all that he had. Chapter 13.
Mm-hmm.
And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold.
Mm-hmm.
And he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning,
Right.
between Bethel and Hai, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. There Abram called on the name of the Most High, and Lot also, which went with Abram and had flocks. With Abram had flocks and herds and tents. Verse 6. And the land was not able to bear them. They might dwell together, for their substance was great.
Mm-hmm.
So they could not dwell together.
Yeah, so they had a lot. They had a lot of cattle, a lot of herds, a lot of people, a lot of servants, right? Read.
And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land.
Mm-hmm.
And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee. For me, if thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right hand. Or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Most High, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zor.
Yeah, so Lot wound up going to Sodom and Gomorrah, which is in the Jordan. And like it looked beautiful at that time. Now you go over there, that's just straight ash. You pick up a rock, it crumbles in your hand. You know what I mean? But it was beautiful at that time.
When we get back there, because it's
Sodom and that's really, I mean, I think that spot is actually going to stay the way it is as a memorial.
Mm.
I believe it's going to stay there because he says he's going to make America like that also. It's going to be for memorial. Nothing's ever going to grow there again. Right.
Verse 11. Then Lot shows him all the plain of Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from other.
Yeah.
Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom.
Right.
Verse 13. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Most High exceedingly.
Right.
And the Most High said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, Lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward and southward, and eastward and westward. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever.
Right. So he's letting it be known that that's our land, that land of Israel. It's our land. It belongs to us forever and ever. No matter who's on that land, they're going to have to come up off that.
So Sodom is really near Israel?
It's near it. Jordan again is right there also. Jordan is right on the other side of Israel. Mm-hmm. Jordan had the land of Esau is in there where you see Petra now. Petra is in Jordan. Moab and Ammon had land in Jordan also.
But we get all of that though, huh?
All that land in that area, yeah. That's actually on our borders, yeah.
Most I should just give us everything.
The whole earth is ours anyhow, isn't it?
Yeah, the whole world is ours to a certain extent, but people got to have their land where they're gonna live at. They gotta have somewhere to live.
Yeah,
both sides fair.
But we'll be ruling over them, though, right?
We'll be ruling over them.
So
like we could go anywhere. That's the thing. We can go anywhere, but nobody's land is more beautiful than ours.
Mm-hmm. So they're where they're living, we're gonna be like they're gonna be on the really bottom, and we're gonna have like the nice stuff, right? Probably.
Right. It's levels though amongst the nations. Like Esau and Canaan. Until Esau is gonna be on the bottom until they get wiped out. Then Canaan's gonna be on the bottom.
It's gonna be like Hawaii.
What? Israel?
Yeah.
I would say better than that.
I'm saying Hawaii's like the best land.
That we could think of. Hawaii, Fiji, stuff like that. Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico beautiful too.
Yeah, my little cousin out there right now. I said, that shit look nasty.
Yeah.
Nah, it looks nice.
I could see, from what I hear, it haven't really fully recovered from them hurricanes. But
it hasn't fully recovered from the Edomites. You talking about? And the hurricanes, nothing. Hurricanes, fine. Hurricanes been coming through there. It hasn't recovered from the Edomites.
Nah, Puerto Rico never really got hit like that in the past. When you think about it, the hurricanes will brush through. It'll brush through. It barely hit Puerto Rico. Jamaica pretty much never got hit. You know
You
what I
can be
mean?
hit
But-
head on. That still ain't the same as getting hit by a bunch of Edomites, bro. That's like you can see that
Yeah.
there's still a problem.
He saw them hit the whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go on though.
Con.
Nothing pretty in them animals.
Verse 11. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent towards Sodom. Did I already read this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all good.
Verse 13. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Most High exceedingly. And the Most High said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes and look from the place where thou art northward and southward, eastward and westward.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 15. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered.
That's showing that's a lot of people. Israel is big.
So the Most High lied to us.
Most I never lied to us. You got to
said
be
he'll
careful
give
what
us
you
that-
say.
I'm just saying, he just said he'll give us that land forever.
That is our
For the
land.
last few thousand, 100,000 years.
Now
we
here's the
haven't been
thing.
on
That's our land regardless. We was kicked out of that house because we was acting up. But that's still our land. We're gonna get it right back. We was doing so abominably in that land. He was like, I don't deserve to be here right now. But remember, he said that land mourns for us too.
So it's
What
like
do you
your
do?
parents kicking you out of the house, but like you've been gone for years, but like your mom still has your bedroom made up and all that.
Right. All our stuff is still in that house. We just gotta act
Right.
right to come back in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
but that's ours. Like it's in the will and everything. Like
They act like they're mad at us and don't want to talk to us, but the room's ready and like, yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Verse 17. Arise, walk through the land, the length of it and the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. Then Abram removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord.
Right. So we go on.
Verse 14, chapter 14, Salakia. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar,
Mm-hmm.
Ariosh, king of Elasar, Chedorlaomer,
Mm-hmm.
king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2, that these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Bersha, king of Gomorrah,
Mm-hmm.
Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemeber, king of Zeboim,
Mm-hmm.
and the king of Bea, which is Zoar. All these were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the salt sea. 12 years they served Chedor Laomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 14th year came Chedor Laomer, the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims in Ashtaroth, Karnaim, and the Zuzims
Mm-hmm.
in Ham, and the Emims in Shaveh, Kiriathaim, and the Horite, verse 6, and the Horites there Mount Seir unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness.
Right. So we saying it's a big war that took place, right? We'll read on.
And they returned and came to En Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwell in Hazazon Tamar.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 8, and there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bea, the same as Zor, and they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim with Chedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Ariosh, king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5.
Mhm.
And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed.
Mhm. So we see after this battle, when the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fell, they took all the spoils, and Lot, this, Abraham's nephew, was one of the spoils, along with all his goods and stuff.
Now, Lot's daughters, which Lot's daughters at this time?
It's going to talk about them later on.
Okay. Verse 13.
Mhm.
And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshol, and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan.
So he's had 318 trained servants.
Mm-hmm.
That was his army, 318 people.
I had no
Abraham had
idea.
a lot of people under him, huh?
I had no idea. This dude is gang. I had no idea. He's just sitting out there like 400 or 500 armed people. Like, I didn't know. You kind of get an idea. He has like, 100 camels,
Yeah.
a couple thousand sheep. You're wondering who's leading these things around. You might have a staff of maybe like 50 people. I don't really picture him as having 300 armed men just sitting out the plane.
Most High made Abram kind of like a king. Abram had everything. He was rich, rich. And as we read on, we're gonna see how like even the Hamites in the area, how they treated him. They treated him like he was a king.
I see he's well known because they said he went to Abram the Hebrew, like he has
Right.
like it's like a title, like Abram the
Right.
Hebrew out there, yeah.
Right. Mm.
So who's Dan? Right, them unto Dan.
Now it's just giving you an idea of the land.
Okay.
Well, I remember this is Moses writing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's giving a story, and he's putting places where like you see where he set Amalek up before. Amalek didn't exist at the time when they wasn't born yet. Dan wasn't born yet. He's just giving you an idea of the area that they was
area
at.
of the land.
Right.
Okay. Verse 15, and he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. Verse 16, and he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people.
Right. So Abram had to go get it in with his servants, and he was able to get everything back.
And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God, Most High Power.
Yeah, Melchizedek,
There
which
he
means
is.
That's Yahweh Shai, huh?
King of Righteousness, come.
Of course, he gonna bring some wine.
And where did he come from? Like, where did he walk from? Like, he just be appearing out of nowhere. Like,
He
got
just
bread
appeared.
and wine.
That's how he
Like,
do
out
it.
of nowhere.
Everybody talk
Everybody's
about
talking. There's dead people on the ground. He just walks, steps over people. He's got bread and wine. Like, hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Bread and wine, yeah.
King of Peace. And they already knew he was a priest of the Most High.
Come,
Come, It was a few occasions. I think 5,000 one time, 7,000 another time. I'm not sure. Yeah, he did that a few times.
Red and wine.
Come,
Ooh, I like that.
come.
It's a good example.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the priest of the Most High Power,
Mm-hmm.
and he blessed him, and said, "Blessed be Abram of the Most High Power,
So he knew that Abram was chosen of the Most High, right?
possessor of heaven and earth,
Mm-hmm.
and blessed be the Most High Power, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand."
Mm-hmm.
And he gave him tithes of all.
Right. So Abraham gave him tithes, or you hear people say, "Oh, tithes is only corn and stuff like that." He gave him tithes of everything, a tenth of everything he had, and that's what the types of the Levites was actually modeled after.
So
he's giving them tithes, so he also knows who he is. They both know
Right.
who each other is. Okay.
Right. They know of each other definitely. He say, "Yo, Abraham of the Most High God," and when they seen Melchizedek come, they're like, "Yo, this is the priest of the Most High God," so they know who each other is.
And verse 21, and the king of Sodom said unto Abram, "Give me the persons and take the goods to thyself."
Mm-hmm.
And Abram said to the king of Sodom, "I have lifted up my hand unto the Most High, and the Most High Power, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shulatchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich."
Yeah, he don't want none of that.
Mm-hmm.
He good. He good already. He's like, "Yo, I don't want none of that. I don't want none of your stuff. Yeah, y'all can have that."
Verse 24, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshol, and Mamre, let them take their portion.
Right. And that's it on that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna because 15, we're gonna try to dig a little deep into something. So we're gonna pick up next week with everything else.
Hey, listen, I have a question. I just wanted to wait till the end since we're at the end. Earlier here, it says that Nimrod was a great hunter before the Lord.
Uh-huh.
How is that? And I know he's wicked, and he's what comes before Babylon. But I find it interesting that Esau is also a great hunter.
Uh-huh.
That and Ishmael is a great archer. Something about hunters and archers I don't understand.
You're saying you're not understanding what makes him a great hunter?
Right. I understand. Like I look at Esau. Esau, like he says he's hunting animals, but we know that Esau also hunts men.
Right.
I wonder, is there some kind of tie between him and how Nimrod is?
See, now the thing with Nimrod, anything else we have of Nimrod, like we know he started Babel and Babylon was his empire and so on and so forth. And we see where, everything else we have about Nimrod is comes from outside sources. We don't got it from the Bible. You feel what I'm saying? So people will say different things. He was a great hunter. You'll see statues, carvings of him holding like a reindeer, a lion, or like a Christmas tree and stuff like that. But as far as to go into the great wickedness of Nimrod himself, I can't really do that because I don't see that in the scripture. You know what I'm saying? Don't say too much of him. He was asking about Nimrod. There's a lot of stories on Nimrod, but we don't see none of that in the scriptures. Just talk about him being a mighty hunter. You feel what I'm saying? So I can't really get into all that. Well, we do hear like, okay, December 25th was his birthday. You know what I mean? And you do see the carvings with him holding a reindeer and a Christmas tree, it looked like.
Right, yeah, because like the legend is he died because he's having sex with his mother and he died, and then a Yule tree gave him a Yule log or something like that.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of on that. Him, sleeping with Semiramis. She wound up getting pregnant with Tammuz and all this other stuff, which they was definitely worshipped in the past too, which we could easily see. Tammuz and Semiramis definitely worshipped, and his name was put on stuff as far as like with Saturnalia and all that was
Session.
before it was called Saturnalia. When it was dealing with him, it was the worship of him and his son. You feel what
Oh,
I'm
I
saying?
see. So people obviously make the connection between the winter solstice or Christmas
Right.
and Saturnalia and him. Okay.
Right. But yeah, that's it. I can't really go into too much more.
But scripture really doesn't provide that much for us.
Right.
Other than, okay, I see.
Right.
Okay.
That's all you're gonna read about him. He was a mighty hunter before the Most High. That's it.
All right.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, it was good seeing you, brothers, man. You know.
Yeah, you already. You gotta come back out there. That was a great time.
That was fun, man.
Yeah, it's good. I got to get out there to y'all, man. Absolutely.
Right.
Oh, hey, yeah, I wanted to ask. Hey, look, what? Because when I was looking at the tickets, I ain't bought the ticket. What airport should I land at? Because there's LaGuardia, there's JFK.
Nah, he's talking about New York.
Yeah.
I always fly into JFK. I don't like flying anywhere else, to be honest with you. But you could go to LaGuardia. You could go to Newark if you wanted to. You
Nah,
go
I
to
don't. Newark's all the way across the water. Like I don't.
I mean, it's really, yeah, it is. It's not too far, but you know, what I mean, it's right there. Like once you get once you get on the New Jersey Turnpike, it's like right there. But
yeah, it's a 14, 15. Yeah, I've been down
like,
through there.
I'm
Yeah.
in the broadcast real quick, but we're gonna keep chopping it up.
All right.
So everybody, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Asher
Shalom,
Shabbat.
shalom.
Shabbat.
All right.